All right. Okay, I guess everything's live now. Should be working now. So let's put this on half. Put this to half. Yeah, I guess. Okay, there we go. Yeah. So I checked YouTube, so the sound sounds good. All right. Basically just getting on today, I've been roughly involved with, the whole Comicsgate movement and different things that have been going on and just happened. I was gonna get on today and just go over that stuff, but I looked this morning and here Stan Lee just died at 95. So that's another comics related thing, but that's a huge. He is a huge character, but really the issue is now he's had a lot of problems with his estate, and there was a couple people trying to take control of some of his intellectual property. So I'm curious as what's going to go on there. Hopefully everything's good and they're not going to have to do lawsuits or anything like that. Because that's always a shame. But anyway, the I don't know whoever. There's not anybody watching my channel. This is kind of just to be put out there, but uh you were either on one side or the other of how things go. You're either a viewer of comics and you weren't worried about the political side of comics, or you're one of those people that just thinks comics should be fun and they should be for whoever wants to read them. Not Comics aren't for everyone. Some comics are for everyone. Some comics are for just adults. Some comics are for just kids. Whatever. Not all comics are for all people, but comics in general are for everyone. So you have groups of comics that are like political based comics, and you have comics that are based on superheroes and comics that are based on real life events. So they're all different kinds. But the movement that is called Comicsgate now, you know, basically you have a couple groups, and one was with Ethan Van Sciver, that one of the primary starters. It was also John Malin, Richard Meyer, a few other people, Mitch Breitweiser. They all were the main people in it. Now there was uh there was another couple people, and I can think of two just off the top of my head. Was Timothy Lim and who's called Nurkish. I don't remember his real name. I'm just gonna use Nurkish right now. But Tim Lim did like a Trump comic book called Thump, and it was basically Trump as a rabbit. Now he also did a comic book. It's Trump Space Force, which hasn't come out yet, but it will be soon. Now it didn't it wasn't technically political. I mean, it really wasn't. I don't think either one was really a political comic. They were just they just were what they were. But Nurkish, and Tim Lim, and another guy named Cecil were going to do a comic. Now Cecil's a prominent member, also in the group with Ethan, and basically the three of them were going to do a comic, and Nurkish and Cecil, they were doing like a buddy comedy type thing. They were working off each other's. Like one would do something, the other one would kind of try to match it up and things. And Tim Lim was doing a lot of the art. So I think it was last Monday, right? So yeah, I think a week ago now, almost exactly. Uh, Basically, Nurkish and Tim Lim went on Twitter and they were like, we're bowing out of Cash Grab. It's now Cecil's book. But they didn't tell him. They weren't like, hey Cecil, reasons, blah blah blah, we got to get out of this. They just told him on Twitter at the same time, the same message. They didn't write him even a different message. It was that same message. So they basically fucked him over. Now, the question was for the next few days, were they receiving pressure, from outside, because a lot of the comics pros and things there's a group of people that gets certain ones blacklisted, some real bad stuff going on. But the question was, were Tim and Nurkish getting pressure from outside? And basically, what it's come down to is, all signs point to no, they were not. So basically, Cecil's just like, forget them, f them, whatever. So that whole cash grab has been stopped. The book had great ideas, and they were really working towards it. Now, there's been a couple suggestions by people saying, let's do a different book. And the one guy, he's doing a comic right now called Detective Dead, and he's Critias on YouTube. But he had suggested to Cecil straight off. He's like, "Oh, well, why don't you do the book and now have them murder you and then go from there and a whole series." And he was like, "Oh, that's a cool idea, And basically, Cecil thought about it and he said, it's only been a couple days or whatever. So he's like, let me think about it, got to make sure nothing really did happen. He was, he really checked and he didn't jump on it first second he had a chance. He waited. And what was I'm just checking. I'm checking emails too while I'm talking. But no, he said, "Oh, I'll think about it or whatever." So a few people, me being one, took our time, just wrote out like a little script basically for Cecil if things didn't go right, So basically I sent him a script and an email, so we'll see. Maybe he'll like it. I told him if he likes it, great. Keep it. Invite me on stream. We'll chat about it, whatever. And I didn't hear back from him, but being the way it is, he gets probably hundreds of emails a day, and so I'm sure he's a little bit busy. But hopefully he can see that book come to fruition. I mean, I really do hope that comes to fruition because he seemed like that was generally like his baby, like he was there for it. But going back to Ethan's been a big proponent of comics. He's been in the comics business for years. He did things for DC, and he had a lot of his own characters and things. So he had put out a book on Indiegogo, which is where a lot of things started. And the book was called Cyberfrog. It basically is what it sounds like. It's about a cybernetic frog. So him putting that book out, he made shit tons of money for Indiegogo, and basically that was the launching point for tons of other people. Now all these creators would come join him in live chat, and he'd shout out their books or whatever. And so a lot of people, even including Tim Lim and Nurkish and everyone, they all got shout outs. So he was doing his second book he's doing is it's going to be Rainbow Brute. Rainbow Brute's definitely like Rainbow Bright, but like I don't know if it's her brother or whatever it is, but he couldn't get the rights to Rainbow Bright straight out. So, work around it or whatever. But since this whole cash grab thing with Cecil, the comic book being canceled or whatever, he's like, "Hey, Cecil, why'd you come do this with me?" So, they're gonna do things together. So I'm really looking forward to him, getting in on that project because that sounds like a lot of fun. But there's a lot of people with hurt feelings, like Tim and Nurkish, that they're in groups with people that didn't get shout outs on like Ethan's channel. But a Google Hangout only has room for 8 people or 9 people or something. So you can do live streams once a day for a year and not have, not be able to take care of every comic creator. It's not his responsibility to promote their books. It's not his responsibility to do it. He does it because he likes their artwork or whatever. But, he has like a brutally honest portfolio review. So basically, if he likes the artwork and he likes the storyline, he'll promote the book. There's a special case from these 2 British writers and artists, and they were doing a comic book, Mortal Worlds, and they were like, they got on once and they said, "Oh, why didn't you shout us out?" or whatever, and we can't get you on all the time. So they kind of got their feelings hurt, I guess, whatever you want to call it. But then they started lashing out, and their book, of course, sold diddly squat. But it wasn't because Ethan didn't shout them out or Ethan didn't help or that Ethan went against them or anything like that. You could look at their art and you could look at the style they were doing, and you could, even a person who didn't draw could look at it and say, well, I don't like this part. That looks a little off. This looks like this. Like their lines were like 3 times thicker than they should be. Some of the faces looked like they were normal proportions, and they look like they could be real people. Other faces were like weird proportions, and they did not look like a human being at all. They were extremely creepy looking. So, their book, it wasn't up to everyone's standards. Like, it wasn't a book that everyone felt good about buying. And that was after the first stream, or the stream when they came on. Everybody checked out their book, and Ethan will say, "Hey, this is their book. Let's check it out." And every person who plans on buying a comic book in that chat and that broadcast at that time, or even afterwards, in the ones that view it after it's live, because they can also do it. It says, "This is their Indiegogo. Why don't you go check it out?" And then everybody checks it out. And if within the hour or 2 of the stream, if you've only got 5 people interested in the book, then your book probably isn't up to snuff. But if, like, there's a lot of books he'll shout out on a stream, people that have good artwork and good storyline, and by the end of a 1-hour stream, they'll be like 50% funded to their total goal or something. That's how people like the book. If people like the book, they'll buy the book. It's the whole Comicsgate movement was about vote with your wallet. And that's basically what it is. Vote with your wallet. It doesn't matter if Ethan says these people are awesome. Check out their book, because you may go and say, these people are assholes. I'm not going to check out their book. Or, another person might be like, these people are so underappreciated. You're different people view different things, so, but a lot of the books, like I think I've bought now, I think I have 30 some books, but originally back when things started, there was Jawbreakers, and Jawbreakers was Richard Meyer, huge Indiegogo success. Then Ethan Van Sciver did Cyberfrog, huge success. Then Mitch Breitweiser did Red Rooster, huge success. You get the idea. And then Tim Lim's Trump Space Force, that sold 100% of its goal like first day. Everybody loved that. And like I said, Tim's kind of on the outs with Comicsgate, but I consider a lot of his work Comicsgate work because he doesn't want mainline politics in his books. He doesn't want the social justice left in his books. He doesn't want authoritarian right in his books. He just wants to be in the middle, and he wants to. The president's the president. You know, whether you like him or not, you support him. If you don't support him, you're just adding to the problem. So I see it as being okay. But, you know, not everybody does. Everybody has their own opinion. But then you had John Malin and Mike Miller. And they had John Malin was Graveyard Shift. Mike Miller was Lone Star Heart of the Hero. Now, these books have all ended, so let's see some of the ones. Yeah, Doug TenNapel. He's still doing a lot of drawing streams and things. And then Detective Dead, that was the one I was talking about earlier. And then there's Battle Maiden Knuckle Bomb, which recently just got done. Lady Alchemy. Let's see. Let's look at ones that are going still. There's one that's still going. It's called Little Girl Lethal. It's basically you have to check it out yourself. I can't do things justice without you actually looking for yourself. But I'm gonna put links for a couple books because I'm pretty sure Little Girl Lethal has a week or two left. Let me see. I'll go through things and check them out. You know what? I can screen share. Why am I okay? Now this is the first actual stream I've done all by myself. So let me try to figure out how to screen share. Okay, there we go. Okay, entire screen share. Yes. Okay. Blip 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 blip. Okay, hopefully that's working. We'll find out later. But yeah, this is Little Girl Lethal. Of course, my name's James. Don't worry about that. But this is Little Girl Lethal. Yeah, see, 98% of its goal. You know, it's got 18 days left. But basically, it reminds me of like Harley Quinn. Really, that's what she reminds me of. Yeah, but the art looks awesome. You know, the storyline seems to be good. Yeah, see, there's the pimp. Gotta love that. But the storyline for what he's described seems to be decent. You know, and if you like this art style, then of course the book's for you for sure. But yeah, you can tell what the book focuses on by looking at the pictures. You can tell where the book's focused and you know what's important to the creator. But yeah, this is definitely not a kid-friendly comic book. Let's just put it that way. So, I mean, basically everything I do isn't kid-friendly. So, but see, they're like Patriotica. That's a new one that just it came out. Let's see, because Ethan was gonna have these people on his stream from Patriotica. But see, they're almost 400% funded. But the one that I bought was the 1, 2, and 3 because you're able to get all 3 books for the Kickstarter combo. So this is number 3. So I wanted number 1 and 2 as well. But then you have books like Nox, which is about Vietnam. So it's more of a military-based comic. And then you have Guardians of Earth, which is, you know, it's a human-like scenario, but with magic and things. So it's a different type of book. But if you look back through what I've gone through, I've gone the gamut of everything, like Lady Alchemy. Black Forest is like a nightmare scenario. Knuckle Bomb. I did Alternoween, their Halloween campaign. You Bigfoot Bill, Black and White Remastered. This is kind of like a Han Solo parody book. Then Lone Star, Graveyard Shift. I've done all these books. I've bought into them because they all were projects that were worth buying into. They all were good. They all were good. What's the word for it? Well, not just good art or good story, but they were all. They all seemed like good people. They all had. They weren't. The type of people that go on Twitter or whatever and go on a rant against the president or for the president. They didn't go on a rant against or about white supremacy. They weren't crazy psycho people. They're all normal people. And when we see the books, you can see their art. You can listen to the person on the live stream. You can kind of get a feeling who they're about. And from that, you decide whether or not you want to buy the book. So if you decide you want to buy the book, then, all different books cost different amounts of money. Some of these are 20, some are 10, some are 50. It really depends because everybody complained. This is a good example of Ethan's book. Everybody said, "Oh, you made so much money because your book was $50." Which, that seems like a lot. See, of course, a lot. $50 for a book does seem like a lot, But let's see if I think I can get into this still, can't I? Yeah. Okay. Where's the perks? Let me look. See, this is artwork. It just looks awesome. And he shows lots of pages of colored and uncolored art. But see, when he started out, when we said, he hit 90,000 as a stretch goal, everybody receives a different cover. You hit 130, it was different colored interior ash can. And these ash cans were back from 1998. And that's if you did the $50 level. 150,000, there was a trading card tier. So you get all this stuff, including your book. And then they did a Amphibionics one, which was the other ash can. So that's 2 ash cans. And then he paid his colors to bonus. And then at the 275, there was a bookmark added. You got a free bookmark. And that was the original campaign because he ran an extra week, afterwards. And then he came back because people said they didn't get a copy. So he ran it again for another week separately, but he didn't include those in the total. So yes, this total is much higher than 300,000, but that's because it was ran different things. But what did I buy? I'm pretty sure I bought this top one right here. But you could get 25 for just the book, 40 for 2 books. Then you get 2 books and 2 ash cans for 75. Because the deal with this is some people like to read a book and then keep one in mint condition. So that would mean they could read one of each and keep one of each in mint condition. You get head sketches. You could do 4 books of each and a head sketch. You had all kinds of different tiers. Like you could do a lot of different things with them. So, of course, you get into the real expensive thing. You get art pages and things. And these are original full art pages of the book. So, of course, they're going to be tons of money. And then you got, where is it? I think it was just that bottom one. Let's see. Yeah, here it is. Ultimate Hornet Food Frog. So basically, if you paid that, you'd be in the book and you'd be one of the people that's a victim. Or if you paid this, you'd be one of the people that survives. And he did 6 of these, so there's 6 people in the book that'll be from that. And there's two pages where you see a gruesome death of those 2 people. So if you're really really into it, you would spend that much money. But of course, I didn't spend that much money. I came up with the $50 for the book, and that was all I could do. But his art is very cool. I love the artwork. But as I said, a lot of them are going on. But he's taken a lot of crap lately because, like I said, everyone thinks they're entitled to be on his show, and it's really stressed him out. And he's basically bounced out of the Comicsgate movement, and he said, I'm out. I'm doing my own thing now. So, I think it's good to step away. But nobody really forced him to step away. He stepped away on his own. He did say, it was pressure and things, but everybody gets pressure. But he bowed out, and so, he's doing his own thing, but he still has tons of friends with the movement. He still promotes people on his channel and things. Nothing's really changed other than the fact that he says, I'm not a leader of Comicsgate. That's really all that's changed. Nothing else. It's just in name only. There's no other differences. But I think that's all the rant I'm going to throw out for today. So, like I said, this kind of started because I thought about Comicsgate, but then I saw Stan Lee dying, and he was 95, so it's not like it wasn't expected. I mean, it's kind of sad and things, but he was 95. He lived a good life. It wasn't like he lived till he was 60 when he was starting to make money and then died. No, he was 95. He did this for, his whole life. And he created so many heroes, and he had so many movie cameos, and whether they're good or bad, whatever you think of them, he did more than, he just did a huge amount of things for his life. So I don't feel the least bit sad that he's dead because he died, because like I said, he led a long life. But I do feel bad for his, leftover family, because now there's going to be huge legal battles. I can just see it coming down the pipe. I'd give it a week, maybe 2, and they're going to start the legal battles. It's going to be crazy. So where the state of a lot of this stuff's going to go, all his creations and things, I think a lot of them are going to end up like in the hands of Disney and things like that. So I don't know whether you think that's good or bad, or you really don't care, no matter what. So, all right, I'm going to hop off here. Let's see. Damn it. Okay, there it is. Stop sharing. Okay. That should have taken care of it. Oh, come on. There we go. Yeah. All right. That took care of it. My mouse is starting to get, I bought a new mouse. I have it sitting here in the cabinet. My old one's just getting in terrible shape. So, but I think that's going to be it for me tonight. So, or today, I should say. It's mid-afternoon. So, anybody watch this, you have a nice day, and I'll talk to you later.